Guys, I'm playing a game called Depression Quest, and let's see what it's like. Its emotional character is probably most indescribable, except as a sort of double bind in which all the alternatives we associate with human agency, sitting or standing, doing or resting, speaking or keeping silent, living or dying, are not just unpleasant but literally horrible. Okay. Depression Quest is a game that deals with living with depression in a very literal way. This game is not meant to be a fun or light-hearted experience. If you are currently suffering from the illness and are easily triggered, please be aware that this game uses stark depictions of people in very dark places. If you are suicidal, please stop playing this game and visit this link to talk to someone. Alright. No, I'm not suicidal or nothing. It's all good. The goal of this game is... The goal of this game is twofold. Firstly, we want to illustrate as clearly as possible what depression is like, so that it may be better understood by people without depression. Yep, I got no idea what it is. And hopefully this can be something to spread awareness and fighting the social stigma and misunderstanding that depression sufferers face. Secondly, our hope is that in presenting as real a stimulation of depression as possible, other sufferers will come to know that they aren't alone, and hopefully derive some measure of comfort from that. It goes without saying that because of the very nature of depression, it is experienced differently by every person who suffers from it. We aren't trying to say that this is the best or most accurate representation, merely that this is an amalgamation of the experiences. What's amalgamation? I don't know. Of the experiences of the developers and several people close to them. Many of the following encounters deal with issues such as therapy, medication, handling a loving life, reaching out to support networks. In reality, less than half of depression sufferers actually seek treatment. For reasons such as lack of money, perceived personal failing, or public stigma. These things were included in order to touch upon as broad a range as possible, since all these elements can be very important to sufferers of depression, though they will likely not be the experiences of most sufferers. It is important to recognize that not everyone with depression is so lucky. Many people with the illness don't have a lot of the luxuries that we have in this game. We've written it in a way so that we can focus specifically on the illness, which becomes more and more difficult to deal with as a person who has it is less and less well off. For that reason, a portion of the proceeds from this game will be donated to ifred.org to help. Okay. This game uses audio as part of its gameplay. We encourage you to play with your sound on. Yep, sound should be on. Yeah, seems on. Alright, cuz. Thank you for playing. I like this. Begin. Alright. It is early on a Monday morning. You are a mid-20s human being. Oh, I thought it was a dog, wasn't I? You have a significant other named Alex, who you are rather fond of, that you have been seeing exclusively for the past few months. The rest of your social circle consists of a variety of friends and acquaintances, some of whom you met at your day job, which is a little boring but pays the rent. You'd like to be doing more with your life, as would your parents, but you're still in the process of figuring out what that means and how to go about it. You are also dealing with motivation issues that sometimes make dealing with these things difficult. You feel like this is probably your fault, and on bad days can feel inwardly angry and down on yourself for being lazy, but you're not quite sure how you can break out of it, and how other people deal with these feelings and seem so very functional. You spend a lot of nights fixating on thinking about this, but never seem to do anything about it other than lose sleep. Right, means you're an idiot. Oh, page up. Is it like a GIF file or something? I don't know. It's an unseasonably warm Wednesday evening. You spent all the past several hours at work. The past week or so you've found your job motivation flagging more so than usual. Right. You've been in a fog practically all day today, simply going through the motions without realizing even what you've been doing half the time, and yet time seems to be moving at half speed. You're so checked out that even when your boss approaches to tell you that it's dead, you can go home early. And you can go home early, it barely registers. I don't get that. As you walk home, the streets hiss from the recent rainfall. You know that your significant other will be in classes until late, another couple of hours at least. You really consider using this serendipitous solitude to catch up on that project that you've been... project. A while back. That's cool. And some of your older friends were out at a bar catching up, but after liquefying considerably more of your paycheck was perhaps responsible, and ending up thoroughly in your cups, you open up to the only people you really consider yourself close to, and end up launching into a drunken tirade about the meaninglessness of your utterly menial job. What's that? Oh, right. And ultimately your own existence. Having never really seen you in such a state before, your friends were briefly taken aback by a sudden uncharacteristic outburst. One of your friends suggested that you get involved with your hobby on a more regular, long-term basis, suggesting that you spend your energy on something you actually care about. Might help you to better cope with the shittiness of your 9 to 5. What's 9 to 5? Seriously. Although you were embarrassed that you let your guard down and you felt self-conscious of seeming to have single-handedly brought the mood down at the table, you convinced yourself on the cab ride home that maybe it would be worth trying out. You began your project some month ago, having miraculously managed to keep at it, though your level of motivation and subsequent effort rise and falls considerably. While you were surprised when you started out how good it felt to actually work on something you were passionate about, lately you found it hard to muster the energy to really care even about this. Okay. At home, you can feel the panic creeping in from the back of your brain, unbidden, unasked for. All you can think about is how incredibly far behind you are. The amount of work seems nothing less than insurmountable. By the time you arrive home and change out of your uncomfortable work clothes, the stress is weighing down on you like a heavy, wet wool blanket. Your computer seems to be staring you down from your desk. You want to sit down and work, but the mere thought of trying to work sends your stress levels flying. More than anything, you feel suddenly and absolutely exhausted. You feel a strong desire to simply hide in bed. Do you? 1. Order some food, grab a drink, and hunker down for a night of work. So you're not going to do that. 2. You're becoming more and more withdrawn. You are not currently seeing a therapist. You are not currently taking medication for depression. What a noob. Reluctantly sit down at your desk and try and make yourself do something. Turn on the TV, telling yourself you just need a quick half hour to unwind from work. Go into bed. You're so stressed and overwhelmed you couldn't possibly accomplish anything anyways. Now I'll do number 2, because, yeah, that's what I'll do. Make a stop at your fridge, turn your favourite playlist on and sit down and start working. What's on your playlist? Yeah, right. You open the last file where you're working on, and as soon as your hands touch the keyboard, your mind goes blank. You're like, oh, right, I have Alzheimer's now, do I? All the motivation and ideas you had when you arrived home vanish in a flash. Your brain seizes up and you find yourself physically incapable of any sort of productive role. You take a break to loosen up, popping into your email inbox, Twitter, and various other internet-based distraction fodder. Right. No idea. Frustratingly, this pattern continues throughout the course of the evening. As soon as you try and focus on your work, your brain diverts all its energy away from the task at hand. While you keep flipping back to your work, you find the sheer mental effort involved in keeping your brain focused is overwhelming and tiring. You do your arguments, YouTube videos, and space amounts of actual work. Later, your playlist flips back to track 1, and the ice in your glass is all but melted, diluting the last dregs of Coke you're nursing. So you got Coke. Coke's not good for you. No wonder you're depressed. You look at the clock and realize a few hours have passed since you sat down to work, and you've made negligible progress. I can just wake up early tomorrow and catch up, you think to yourself as you climb into bed, even though you know that never actually happens. You're very depressed. You're spending a large amount of time sleeping, handing yourself and you have very little energy or motivation. You are not currently seeing a therapist. You are not currently taking medication for depression. What a noob. Oh, he's got an iPhone. No wonder he's depressed. There's your answer. It's a mild Friday afternoon. Alex calls you from one of her classes, telling you that there's going to be Alex is your significant other. There's going to be a really awesome birthday party tonight at her apartment for that one of her roommates this time. You hung out with this roommate a few times with Alex, and you get along well enough, but aren't particularly close. You don't have work in the morning and have nothing else in particular to do tonight. You're feeling kind of run down, but you have been fatigued most of the time lately. You mentioned that you're feeling ill because you're not sure how else to explain this feeling to someone else, and say that you aren't sure that you can make it tonight. So there's a second of silence over the phone, but you can swear you hear the sound of your partner's face fall. Ooh. Did she get injured? Because if your face falls, it's pretty serious. She She tries to convince you anyway. You haven't seen her this week. And she sounds pretty insistent that you come over. She even drops a few suggestively worded hints that you can stay over with them tonight after the party. What do you do? Right, can't do that. Alright, cause I'm gonna be the depressed dickhead. Despite your partner's pleas, you tell Alex that you're unable to make it to the party tonight. You say you feel too ill and will just be a drag on everyone. She sighs a sigh that you've heard many times before. One of exasperation for patience. Man, why are you pissing off your girlfriend? That's not good. Well, okay, then I just hope you feel better soon. I really miss you. I guess I'll see you next week or something. What, next week? You apologize profusely, abundantly, and tell Alex that you love and miss her too, and promise to make plans for next weekend. She sounds somewhat distracted and distant as she agrees, says her good nights and hangs up. You spend the rest of your night beating yourself up for feeling too lousy to go. You leave a few apologetic loving texts to your partner, and you feel stressed out and forgotten when you don't receive a reply. Mate, she's at her roommate's house having a birthday party. There's quite a big chance you didn't get the text, as in didn't realise she got the text. What's this? It's a tap or I don't know. Still afternoon on a muggy Saturday. What's muggy? Ah, right. Your mother has come in for a surprise visit, claiming loudly that she doesn't see you enough, so she decided to invite herself over. As you converse, she walks around your place and you get the distinct impression that you're being inspected. Obviously, bro, whose mum wouldn't come to your house and inspect it? So what's going on with you, buddy? Taken someone aback by this left fielder? What? I don't know. Left fielder, I only hear that in cricket or something. I don't know. You tell her that you're not sure what she means. She repeats the question, saying that you haven't seemed like yourself lately. Oh, okay. She gestures to the dirty dishes pile in the sink and notices the fact that you haven't called or visited in a while. Your reticence. Right. Only seems to spur her on more. She presses you, asking if you are having problems with her work or with Alex, and you're beginning to feel increasingly battered by her sudden well-meaning but overwhelming inquisition. Under her questions, you become increasingly uncomfortable. You want to be able to explain her how you've been feeling, but the truth is, you're not really sure yourself. Nothing horrific has happened at work or with your significant other or friends or anything like that. But all the same, you can't deny that lately you've just felt drained as though you're not really here. You wish you could tell your mother these things, but she hasn't been approached about negative emotions in the past. What you do. She's the kind of person who holds the opinion that the solution to any problem is to simply try hard and maintain a positive attitude, a stance that has reared its head in past conversations. When you begun to explore the subject with her, you know she's unlikely to be understanding, and you feel the energy drain out of you when you imagine what would happen if you managed to blurt out everything you're feeling. What do? Let her know that you've been feeling down lately and that you appreciate her concern. Try to be honest with her, ain't you? Oh, right, so you're gonna lie to your mum. What a dickhead. I'm gonna be a noob. Change the subject. Are you okay? It's because you've been finding yourself being asked a lot lately, and this one that has begun to make you instantly uncomfortable is one you would have to spill your guts to adequately describe. Oh, that's kinda disgusting. Which would be an almost impossible feat to perform at the moment. Yes, it would, because it's kind of hard to spill your guts, isn't it? Even if you managed to, you'd have to fight through your self-loathing long enough. No, not you. Loathing, cuz. Loathing. Oh, right. Loathing long enough to keep you talking despite feeling like everything you're saying amounts to simple belly aching. Right. If somehow you power through that as well, you'd have to live with feeling truly exposed, and you figure anyone who would know all of these things would be put off to you permanently. More importantly, despite your mother's best intentions, she is quite likely the worst possible person to try and wade through all this bullshit with. Alright, you have had the question by pretending you have received a text message. Once you pretend as though you finish reading it, you change the subject back to one you know your mother is interested in. She takes the bait, and the topic is successfully changed. Yeah, mission accomplished, cuz. Got this, bruh. The feel of unease lingers and your stress levels stay high until she leaves a bit later. You wonder if you could talk to someone about all of this. Someone who would be more sympathetic and not tell you to simply think positive. Oh. It is a lazy Sunday morning. What's that? You're idly clicking around and like, oh, as your phone rings. Sam, co-worker reviews that you're friendly with, asks you how you are and makes hurried small talk with you. You typically only ever talk with them on the phone when one of you needs a shift code, so it's slightly awkward. You're waiting in anticipation for you to go on short notice when he veers the conversation in a completely different direction. How do you feel about cats? He asks. Mine had a kitten a few weeks and I'm having an awfully hard time finding a home for the last one of the litter. You don't have any pets, right? It takes you a moment to process this new information as you're caught up off guard as he begins to earnestly try to sell you on the idea of taking the last skin off his hands. It's not something that you had specifically considered before, and he seems fairly insistent. She's a real sweetheart. I don't want her anymore. Really loves people. She's got all those shots already taken care of, and the vet says she's healthy as a horse. What if it's a sick horse? Is she still healthy as a horse? I'll bring her over by your place tonight if you're interested. Or what? He really doesn't like this cat. You look around in your apartment and try to picture a cat in it as he continues to tell you about how cute she is. You tell him that this is all kind of sudden and you don't have anything for a kitten set up here. I don't worry about that. I can bring over a little box on food and all that, since you'd really be helping me out of fix. Yeah. It's the least I could do. I just don't want to have to put her in a shelter. Oh right, so you're going to put her in my shelter. What a noob. Alright. You can't help but feeling like you're being guilt-tripped. You decide to give it some serious consideration. It does get awfully lonely around your apartment, and it might feel less empty with a cat around. However, since you've been feeling so down, it might not be a good idea to take on the responsibility of a cat, even if they are fairly low maintenance. I don't like cats. Ugh, look at that picture. Ugh, I don't like cats. Alright? You accept the offer of the kitten and hang up shortly after making an arrangement for when your co-worker can oh, it's a her. Right. Tonight. Wait, no, drop her. The cat's a her. Alright, after hanging up, you worry about if you've suddenly taken on a responsibility that you can't handle, and you hope you don't make a swine will suffer for it. You're not entirely sure what to expect, and you spend the rest of the afternoon researching cat care online and trying to think of a name. Oh, that's cool. That's a good idea. The evening rolls around and you hear a knock at your door. What about your project? Aren't you going to do that? Your door startling you out of reading. Wikipedia is entirely too hard. You take Priscilla on a small, terrified black and white cat and carry her along with everything you need to start taking care of her. You take her into your bedroom, close the door, and open the door to the carrier excitedly. Oh, nice. She cowers in the back of it and you and you back off. Feeling slightly defeated, you remember what you researched on introducing the kitten into a new home. And leave her alone to go and mess around on your computer. Okay, hopefully checking over your shoulder every so often to see if she has come out yet. She has inside a carrier periodically making sorrowful cat howls long enough for you to start worrying that she already doesn't like you. But by the time you go to bed, she's curled up at the foot of it, eyeing you nervously before falling asleep. Nice. See, man, I made the good decision. The cats. Well, I don't like cats, but yeah. Oh, pizza, bro. Is it? Yes, it's pizza. It's late Friday. What? Skipped to Friday already, and quitting time is just around the corner. Bright, clear day is giving way to a still temperate evening. You can hear your co-workers all around you anxiously making plans for the evenings and weekends, but you're really looking forward to just going home and resting after what's turned out to be a very long and... I thought you did nothing, bloody noob. Alright. Just before the end of your shift, you get a call from Alex. It seems a group of your mutual friends are heading out to a nearby pub for dinner and drinks to celebrate the end of the week. Brilliant excuse to celebrate, and they want to know if you'd like to come along. You tentatively tell her that you're emotionally exhausted from the work week, and a social outing like that would just take too much out of you today. You encourage her to go and have a good time, since you know it's been a while since she's gone out with friends, but the effort feels futile since you know she isn't going to go without you. A couple hours later, the two of you find yourselves in a familiar position on the couch while you're watching comedy shows on Netflix. Don't you have to pay for that thing? Yeah, that's right. Oh, so you're an American boy. Oh, I see. A box of pizza open at the coffee table in front of you. That looks pretty close to me. You look across the couch at her, you start to feel anxious. You feel bad about effectively forcing the two of you to stay in tonight. Again. What a noob. Why would you do that to your girlfriend? What a stupid dude. Seriously. While you're always appreciative of your partner's efforts to take your feelings into account and make you sure you're socially comfortable, you sincerely worry that you're holding her back from enjoying a more fulfilling relationship. While she does seem to enjoy spending time with you, as the two of you sit in comfortable, almost contented silence watching an old show you've each seen 2 or 3 times before for a noob, your ever-increasing fear that your relationship is becoming one-sided weighs more and more heavily on you. You feel more than ever like a burden or a ward to her, and it's virtually impossible for you to see what value you could possibly offer to her in return. Worst of all, this nagging fear has made you feel more self-conscious than ever, withdrawing ever inwards, and you've started to pull away even from Alex herself. Oof, bro, that's... Ooh. Don't say anything. Right, so you're not going to do any of these. Nice. Netflix. 34, 32, 33% loading. This is around the first time you would have to have this conversation with her, and it's one that plays out the same way every time. Explain your fears of being worthless. She tries to tell you that she doesn't see you that way, and you insist that she is biased or just being nice to you because she's your girlfriend. And she gets frustrated. It never resolves. Nothing new is ever said, and rarely do you feel reassured by it. Occasionally she tries to broach the subject. Broach? Right. Trying to discover why you feel like this about yourself. This always makes you feel nervous. You're sometimes convinced that the only reason she is still with you is because she doesn't know how awful you really are. Yeah, you're an awful dude. As time goes on, you've gotten more comfortable trying to express bits and pieces of your insecurities to her, which still causes you to feel very on guard, and it's not a conversation you can have for too long without worrying you're going to scare her away. The weight of an unspoken, unresolved issue in your relationship joins you in the room for a little while, but you dare not pick at it for the rest of your night. Ooh. It's a breezy Sunday afternoon. You've allowed Amanda, an old friend from school that is in town for the week, to talk you into leaving the house for coffee and catch up. You meet her in a small cafe and talk about what you've been up to since you've last seen each other, and you can't help but feel like they're a lot more accomplished and interesting than you are while listening to them talk about their life after school. When it's your turn to brief them on your activities, you feel anxious and ashamed and give them a very abbreviated version. What you did nothing, what's there to abbreviate? You tried to talk about your job as little as possible, and you feel incredibly boring while you describe it, despite her expressing sincere interest in you and your life. Amanda has known you long enough to read your mood and tone of voice. She leans in to ask the question while gently touching your hand, a look of genuine concern on her face. What's wrong? That question, bro. That question. Yep, I'll notice my hands are shaking, because I'm quite sure they would be. Oh my god, such a small question, but it feels like a blow to the gut. You surprise yourself when you realize that your tightly clenched fists are now beginning to shake slightly. Despite your best efforts, you feel tears begin to sting at your eyes. You try to disguise it by tilting your head up and praying that they'll suck back in. She suggests that the two of you get out of here, and you feel mortified. She offers to go back to your apartment with you. As the two of you end up talking in her car for 2 hours as the words just pour forth from you. Amanda seems unsure of what to say at times, but she listens and rubs your back as you sob and talk. She asks if you've gone to a doctor about this, and you admit that you haven't. She mentions that her mother is seeing a very good therapist in town, and offers to ask her about it. You're not thrilled about going to a therapist, even less thrilled that Amanda might be telling someone about your problems, but she persists and tells you she'll email you the doctor's contact information later in the week. Oh man, this feels nice. This shit. Click next. Okay. What's this? It's a glaring Sunday morning. Glaringly sunny morning. Sunday morning. Oh my god. Wow, I got that wrong. Oh my god. And one of the few days your brother Malcolm is in town, and free long enough for you two to actually see each other. Malcolm, the brother. You have a dental appointment that day, but you make plans to pick him up, for him to pick you up afterwards. Alright. Your appointment takes a little longer than expected because your dentist tells you they've been starting grinding your teeth in your sleep to a 1 year degree. What, What? I didn't get it. What's grinding your teeth? Given how nearly everything in your life has been feeling enormous and stressful lately, this does not come as a surprise to you. He suggests that you try to reduce your stress levels and fits you for a night guard. Feels awkward and too big for your mouth, and you feel embarrassed looking at your puffed out face in the mirror with it in. Who cares, mate? No one's gonna sleep with. Is no one gonna sleep with you? You finish up the appointment in a hurry and leave about half an hour overdue for meeting your always punctual brother in the parking lot. Oh, that's nice, brother. He's always punctual. You finish up as quickly as possible and leave the building to scan the parking lot for your brother's car, but you don't see his old Civic anywhere. Civic? Oh, okay, Honda Civic. Haha. Yeah. You pass by a blue Camaro and jump as it beeps at you, causing you to jump in surprise. It takes you a moment. Oh, right. What, you got a new car or something? That's pretty cool. You're on the passenger seat and compliment on his new ride, and he mentions that it's a perk of promotion. Oh, that is recently a plan at work. He starts thinking about how much more money he's making, how his career is really taking off, and how he's starting to look at houses with his wife soon. Oh, nice, he's got a wife. You clutch the bag containing the night guard in your hand, and you feel yourself clench your teeth as you think of your crummy apartment. How long it's been since you've been able to take a day off work without having to worry about making ends meet. He's only 2 years older than you, but it feels like he's eons ahead of you in every other aspect of your lives. It's not bloody ends. Eons. Right. So, how did your appointment go? Did you get drilled full of holes, or what? Ooh, right. Yeah, I'll tell him, he's my brother. Why not? Alright, the dentist said I'm apparently grinding my teeth too much when I sleep. Oh, been stressed out lately, kiddo? It's not that you don't really want to go into it. Not internet. You tell him that you don't think that's the case, and it's probably just a random thing. He doesn't pry farther, and instead of being reminiscing about the time you chipped a baby tooth because he accidentally knocked you over once. Wow. How do you accidentally knock someone over? Like, push it. Oops, that was accidental. You go out for a dinner and catch up on things, but you still feel somewhat distracted by the gnawing anxiety on the back of your mind. Though you enjoy your brother's company, you still feel like you want nothing more than to go home and hide from the world tonight. It becomes hard for you to try to stuff all your horrible feelings down. You're emotionless when someone like the dentist can see a fraction of what goes inside your head. It leaves you feeling embarrassed and weak, and you hate yourself for feeling that way. You wonder if you're really fooling anyone into thinking that you're a normal person. No, you ain't fooling anyone, mate. Obviously. And then you wonder if your brother knows and is hanging out with you out of pity tonight. After he drops you back off your apartment, you throw the night guard out. What? It's a night guard. Why would you do that? Oh shit. It's a dry Sunday morning. You grab your morning coffee and scoot your rapidly growing kitten off your office chair, and despite a protest, sit down at your desk to check your email. A new message pops up in your inbox almost as soon as you do. You pop up in your inbox? It's from Amanda, and you remember your meeting in the cafe and awkwardly bringing up your feelings to her. Subject: Hey buddy. Body is: Hey, sorry, it's been a few weeks. I meant to get this to you sooner, but it took me a while for me to get a hold of my folks back at home. Dad told me to say hi, by the way. Anyway, I remembered what we talked about last time I saw you, and I hope you aren't insulted, but I asked my mom for the number for her therapist. Don't worry, I didn't tell her who it was for. I think she's worried about me now. Nice, dickhead. Anyway, the number is 647-723-5274. That's a long number. It's a really good office. You should look into it. Talking to someone never hurts. I just got killed. Okay? And you're saying it never hurts? If you're worried about money, don't be. They're one of the few that has really good sliding scale fee system and won't charge you what you can't afford. Oh, that's cool. I hope you're feeling better. That was really nice to see you again. Still early enough that you could call and make an appointment today. You can curls up in your lap as you consider what to do. Yeah, fair enough. The thought of picking up the phone and calling someone about this right now is overwhelming. Sure, you're having a hard time. Are you really in need of therapy? Shouldn't you be able to just get over it yourself? What if they put you on medication to make you feel like a zombie? What if you go and the therapist looks down on you? Well, Alex, think about this. Trying to think about all these things at once makes it feel like a very big deal, and you decide to take your time to think on it. Just as that passes quickly, and that night you have a hard time trying to sleep because your brain is too busy thinking about all these things and imagining all the ways it could horribly go wrong. Next morning you check your email again, with blurry eyes and yeah, right. Amanda's email is still there, seemingly waiting for you. You are no more decided than you were yesterday. Aww. Call after wrestling for a few minutes. Again, I told you, that is the reason he is depressed, or she might be. Covalent morning. Yeah, he's got an iPhone, or she. You never know. You read through Amanda's email 2 or 3 times and sit and stare at your computer for a while the memory of that uncomfortable conversation makes you feel newly embarrassed and self-conscious. Part of you is also encouraged for the fact that she cared enough to get you back to you at all. That's a nice friend. Sitting in front of your computer, you start to question things like whether Amanda sent you this no out of pity or out of some sense of obligation after having listened to you, a sense of her marriage and validity of his concern, and whether or not you think seeing a therapist would even be helpful. Yet, unconsciously, you reach for your phone and before you realize what's happening, you're listening to the therapist's line ring. You even bring yourself to hang up, you're listening to the slightly clinical but not unpleasant voice of the receptionist asking, how can she help you? I'd like to make an appointment with the doctor. You manage to stammer out. The conversation quick, not nearly as unpleasant as you were feeling, and quicker than you can say Freudian slip. You've scheduled Freudian? Okay. You've scheduled an appointment. Quicker than you realize, appointment day rolls around. What do you do? Over the middle of the path. You sit in the driver's seat of your car for several minutes trying to decide what you do. You think of all the help that this could allegedly offer you, and worry desperately about disappointing Amanda if you don't go. And at the same time, the utter fear of having to talk to a complete stranger about these things is paralyzing. Yeah, yes. You wonder about sounding whiny and melodramatic. What, you're supposed to be dramatic? You're bloody depressed, Wait. Oh my god, that's a bit of an explanation. Yeah. Don't get it. Okay, I thought I knew what melodramatic means. I don't anymore. And or that will be mean, or that you won't understand. She. How do you know it's a she? I understand what you're trying to say. You're worried that people... Mate, she's a therapist. She's dealt with this kind of shit before. Or that people will find out and you'll be seen as defective. You sit in the driver's seat of your car for 0 minutes trying to decide what to do. You're terrified of seeming melodramatic or defective more than anything else. You're terrified of disappointing Amanda and not calling. While you still aren't sure if her concern is genuine or not, she still took the time out to send you this information, and the thought of her accepting disappointment, the look on her sad but knowing face that you've seen in too many others before, is itself motivation. It's enough for you. You start your car and you drive to the therapist's office. Oh. Holy shit. Holy shit, holy shit, holy shit. Yes, I'm getting better. It says you're depressed now. Before it said you're very depressed, and then it said you're deeply depressed, or whatever it said. You have your first session with your new therapist, Dr. Susan Melville, a tall woman in her mid-40s with a disarming... Right. Demeanor. Alright, and patient eyes with the start of the slightest smile lines. She makes you feel comfortably fairly easy, which is a pleasant surprise after all of your anxiety over the appointment. As you leave, you make a second appointment. You're still skeptical, but you figure you might as well see where this goes. The hardest part is, seems was taking the first step. You're still not sure if and how you're going to tell your family or your partner, but you figure you'll deal with that when the time comes. Either way, you'll feel relieved that you managed to see this through, instead of being paralyzed with worry over it. Even if nothing comes out of it, you did something that you said you would do, instead of flaking out or running away. Yeah, it's pretty awesome. You're emotionally exhausted when you get home and collapse into bed. You sleep better that night than you have in a week. I'm not sure if it's because you were so tired when you got home, or if it's because of the therapist. Oh man, that's nice.